You're listening to Film Seizure. This is Geoff.
And this is Jason, and you can catch us on Wednesdays weekly talking about some sort of movie.
Yeah, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just search for Film Seizure. And as Jason said, check us out each week.
Yes, your Wednesdays should be less crappy because of us, we hope. Maybe. Or more crappy.
Or more crappy.
Who knows?
Either which way.
Wednesdays are always a crapshoot. Why not give us a try?
Exactly. Can't say it any better than that.
America, fuck yeah, coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America, fuck yeah, freedom is the only way.
Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. This is Geoff Arbuckle.
This is Jason Oliver.
And happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yes, America. Happy 4th of July.
Blow up a piece of the country you love.
Yeah.
And to celebrate 4th of July, we really just kind of dropped off. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. And
So to celebrate the birth of our nation, what is this? The, 240
I'm trying to do the math now in my head.
242nd year
Sure.
anniversary, I think, birthday? Whatever.
America.
This is we watched the 1990 version of Captain America.
Yes, directed by Albert Pyun.
Yeah, so this movie is kind of, I think it's safe to say it's much maligned. It is not well thought of.
No, especially probably now so in comparison to the grand Marvel, MCU and the Captain America that we have now, who is pretty beloved.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because of my top 5 Marvel movies, 3 of them are Captain America movies.
Okay.
And the other 2 are Avengers movies. So,
they made 3 Captain America movies? Oh, they did. Yeah,
Civil War, which is kind of also it's a third Captain America and third Avengers.
I think of that as like an Avengers movie rather than a Captain America movie. Yeah. But it's sort of got that sort of, I don't know, that parallax view kind of old school spy thriller thing going on too, which is really cool. Or am I thinking of Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, because each of the Captain America movies are 3 different genres. You got a war movie. You have the political thriller.
That's the political thriller. I really like that one.
And then the third one is the big verbose action movie.
Yeah.
Kind of a I have a hard time picking which one's really better, Winter Soldier or Civil War. But that's just because.
And the first Avenger though has the Howling Commandos, who I like a lot. Just a little bit of Howling Commandos.
Yeah. Oh, in the first
one, yeah. Which I dig a lot. I like the old school feel of the first one.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about movies that nail their genres perfectly. This one, not so much.
Yeah, I don't know if this one really knows what it is, to be honest.
That actually brings up a lot of what I'm going to talk about in the early stages here. But a little bit of background about this movie. It is produced by Menachem Golan of the Canon fame. The what do they call him?
Wait, what? They're trying. What do they talk?
What was their nickname?
Oh, God, I
the
can't
Go-Go
remember.
Boys.
Yeah,
Was that it?
the Go-Go Boys. Yeah, I think that's right.
So,
Yep.
this was one of
Globus and Golan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in the late '80s, Canon kind of had a really bad couple of years. They had a really bad lot of years, but they had a really bad couple of years towards the mid to late '80s, which basically forced Golan and Globus to split. Globus stayed with Canon. Golan went and created 21st Century Pictures.
Yes, that sounds right.
And one of the 2 main properties that Golan kept was a Spider-Man property that never got made.
Yeah.
And the Captain America movie.
Yeah. The Spider-Man property actually went into pre-production with Albert Pyun or Pyun.
That's going to be tough for you.
It's going to be really tough.
You just
Albert-
learned. I never
Albert
learned until
Pyun.
tonight how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, I always just
So-
kind of read it.
Yeah.
Pyun, but yeah, that
Pyun.
one went into production. Spider-Man and Masters of the Universe 2, I think both went into pre-production around the same time, and he was going to direct them both, and they both fell apart. And I think what happened out of the fallout of Masters of the Universe 2 and part of maybe Spider-Man was ended up being Cyborg.
Oh,
Cyborg kind of used a lot of the set elements and costumes, most specifically from Masters 2, but I think a little bit of Spider-Man as well.
there's a guy walking around in a Spider-Man costume.
Right, yeah.
That'd be hilarious. So, kind of like the Iron Spider outfit from the new Avengers movie. Gosh, where do we go with the? So Albert Pyun, we're going to talk about him in a minute because I know you've got
I have a few
catalog.
things. I have
of
a few things to say
him.
about him. I find him very fascinating. We'll get there.
He is a fascinating character. He is Hawaiian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he had made a bunch of movies with Cannon, and then with Golan. Cyborg was right at the end of that Cannon Films era when they were just about to fall apart. But the wheels had been squeaky for a long time there.
Yep.
So this movie was intended on being a theatrical release in late summer of 1990, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean,
And there is certainly a production value to the movie.
there is. There's definitely, you could tell that it started with a budget.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they tried to cast some fairly recognizable actors. I mean,
Well, Ned Beatty and Ronnie Cox.
right?
and-
Yeah. I mean, people, not necessarily A-listers, but Ned Beatty. I mean, pretty much everyone that knows movies recognized probably Ned Beatty in 1990. You know?
Oh, and yeah, I mean, he had been in many, many movies, at least in the last 20 years
Sure.
prior to that. I mean,
Kind of, your I don't know, pretty popular character actor. You know? But yeah, so I was looking. I think the budget was $10 million on this thing.
whew, that
Yeah.
seems high.
It does,
Yeah, it
especially in
seems real high.
1990. You wonder kind of ultimately where it all went.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it had good technical ability behind it, good camera work. It honestly, the Shout Factory release we watched of it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, it is a. There are obviously some coverage shots where they either didn't want to do reshoots or they were doing something to try to shorten the movie.
Yeah.
Or simply they didn't have the budget for the special effect. They would do things that would like either push in real close on the shield just whizzing by or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, the movie's kind of clean. I mean,
Yeah.
This is a movie. I admit that I am absolutely an apologist for this movie. I have covered this movie now in 3 different ways. A long time ago, I wrote about this movie around the time that the first Captain America MCU movie came out. For a website that I used to write for called Comic Book Blog. I missed that site. I missed that era of
I mean, such a catchy name, Comic Book Blog.
Well, I mean, you got the job done, man.
How many articles did you say you wrote for that? Like
Over 1,000,
1,000
almost 1,100. I reviewed comics. I talked about movies. I wrote just all sorts of different stuff, and I did some of my best work there. And it's something that unfortunately is not around anymore. But I covered this movie in kind of a very critical way. I then touched upon it not less than a year ago for B-Movie Enema,
yeah.
because it was my 100th article that I did before taking a little bit of a break, and I was a little bit more loving towards it. And I cracked jokes while we watched it, and I'm probably going to crack jokes about it now because it's really I'm not, again, second week in a row, I'm not stupid. This is a bad movie.
Wait, did we watch Xanadu last week?
Yes. I'm not stupid, but I have a softness for this movie that is, you know, I mean, it's.
Look, I get it. I get it. Here's the thing. I know how big of a fan you are of Captain America.
That's funny. Real quick, I don't mean to cut you off here, but I was talking to a friend, and I said, you know, we're gonna be watching the Captain America movie from 1990 that's kind of shitty, and 3 Friday the 13th movies, like what we're gonna cover in the next couple of times that we're recording. And I was like, you know, it's a shitty Captain America movie, but I don't think it's as shitty as it could. I'm probably being too nice on it. And she was like, no, you're just a super fan. And it's like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. You're right.
but it's not all just that. I mean, you could be a super fan and be really angry at this movie too.
Oh, I could absolutely be angry about a lot of things.
Yeah, but
I'm not.
But it's not really worth being angry about. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of really charming things about this movie that you could.
That is the exact word that I would choose. Charming.
And you even pointed it out throughout while we were watching. It's like, oh, that's so much like you would have gotten from like the Golden Age comic or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
And like that line is just ripped right out of the comic. So I could tell that there are moments in this movie that you really warm to because of that connection.
Right. I mean, Captain America, while for the better part of the last 30 years has been not what people think he is, but instead oftentimes did dive more into political thriller like Winter Soldier did. And he has been involved with some pretty heavy shit in the Marvel Comics universe. But he is still, or has been built up over the last 30 years to be the Superman of Marvel. Superman being the big blue Boy Scout of DC. Marvel had, well, we've got a big blue Boy Scout too. He's blonde-haired and blue-eyed, no less.
He's Captain America.
He's fucking Captain America.
Yeah. Wears the stars and stripes.
Yeah. He is, I mean, and he is, a lot of people... You'd be surprised how many people think Captain America stands for things that they don't stand for anymore. Right. When in fact, oh no, Captain America stands for the ideal that we all strive for. He is not a Democrat or a Republican or a leftist or a rightist. He is a pure belief. He has a pure belief in the American dream and the ideal that we think America should represent.
Right. He represents our better selves.
Yes. If there's anything like he literally represents the America of the 1940s, the champions of World War II, the saviors of the world.
Mm-hmm. The greatest generation.
The greatest generation. And yes, the greatest generation has some things that we're not exactly proud of.
That is very true.
Now and then, but at the same time, that's the ideal of...
But the best part of ourselves.
The best part of everything. The can-do spirit of we can get things done because we are just simply that good.
Now, obviously, the better part of ourselves is a subjective statement for some people as well.
Sure.
And, I mean, it's hard to almost not get a little bit political in this episode when you think about some of the current state of affairs with a president calling Nazis fine people.
He's no fucking Captain America.
And to think about, what would Captain America say about that?
He'd fucking punch the dude.
He'd fucking punch him right in the face.
There was a run that Jack Kirby did in the 1970s that Captain America discovered that there was a secret empire underneath all of the government that was manipulating things towards a fascist end. I believe everybody dressed as basically as Ku Klux Klan members. They wore white pointy masks and everything. He fights his way all the way up to the main guy. He rips the mask off. And it's fucking Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
I mean, they went there with that. And that was a monumental statement against the way that the writers and the way that the publishing company felt at that time in the mid-70s, that there is a deep corruption and we kind of have to fight our way back from it. And I feel like if Jack Kirby was alive today, he would do the same thing. He was the guy who drew Captain America punching Hitler on issue number 1, got the American Nazis pissed off and picketing outside, and he had to be restrained by Joe Simon, the writer, the co-creator of Captain America, from going out there and fucking punching a Nazi.
God, how great is that?
I mean, now granted, Jack Kirby's a Jew, Joe Simon's a Jew. They were already targets, and they were done. They were already done. It's like, no, I am nobody's scapegoat. I'm gonna go out there and punch a dude.
But it's amazing, that they were emboldened enough.
Yeah.
Then that was before America entered the war.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Captain America #1 came out a full 12 months, I believe, before Pearl Harbor.
Wow. I mean,
and they were already inserting themselves into the battle with Captain America.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So I mean, there is a sense of doing the right thing, the idea of justice, the idea of, we're not saying America's the best, but we have ideals that can be the best and can lead the rest of the world if we lived up to them.
Right. Live up to and be an example of an ideal.
Which for a long time we were that example.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can argue all day with anybody listening, or we can argue between ourselves where we think we went wrong or what we think we're doing wrong, how far we feel like we go for certain things, whether we believe it to be the right thing or not. But the truth is that when we are at our best, we are the example that the world lives up to. And that's not just two Americans saying that. I mean, plenty of people around the world are very disturbed by certain directions we've taken.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me sad because it feels like, we're talking about this, you're listening to this on 4th of July, and it makes me sad because, I even find my own self becoming cynical about what it means to be an American and what it means to be patriotic. And it's hard to sort of reconcile that earnest, wide-eyed patriotism of my youth with how I feel about our country today sometimes. And
it's one of those things that makes you sad that you've grown up, because you can see the
cracks.
You see the cracks.
The spider webs. You see the corruption. You see all the grime and the dirt.
You're no longer wide-eyed,
right,
and accepting of just, well, that's the way things are, or, well, not necessarily that, but you accept authority better.
So that's why it's nice to have sort of an idealistic character in someone like a Captain America who stands for, I don't know, I mean, what I believe to be the real American dream and the real American ideals and what we would strive to be as a world leader.
Right. And it also speaks to the idea that no matter how weak you are, you can be as powerful as you believe you can be.
Right. That's a great point. It's, Captain America at his core was a crippled little boy, who became,
he was a weakling. He was a 99-pound weakling.
Superpowered human, and that idea of protecting and empowering the weakest among us, I think, is one of the greatest American ideals.
Well, we're only as strong as far as we will protect the weak.
Right.
And and right now I don't feel like we protect the weak very well.
No, I don't either. I feel like it's become a very survivalist atmosphere, and only the strong survive.
Well, holy shit. You only have to go so far, and I'm going to just say it. You only go so far as wake up any morning and go to fucking Twitter. The president of the United States is calling somebody weak, stupid, bad, sad. Just, I mean,
I don't like soldiers who get captured.
Yeah. So, don't worry though. He's going to die soon. Who gives a shit what he believes? Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. I mean, it's disgusting, and that's not just me saying this it doesn't matter who the fuck I vote for.
Right.
It would not matter who the hell Steve Rogers votes for. He would weep at the idea of dead children in a schoolroom because of gun violence. He would weep at the hordes of people who cheer for the horrible things that a guy in a red hat says.
Yep.
A fucking clown.
Yep.
It's in a lot of ways you could probably say that ultimately the idea of Captain America is now outdated. Since 2015, the idea of Captain America has been outdated because it's no longer about emboldening the weak and raising. It's about making sure that everybody can say whatever the fuck they want about a black guy.
We've become a country of bullies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which is so. To circle back around the Cap, and this movie and what every origin story of Captain America makes sure that they point out is the fact that he would have been the person bullied. Now he's the one with the power, but he doesn't go and push the disabled kid down the stairs because that dumb kid's got a fucking walker, or he got those little sticks that he walks on. Fuck that kid. Push him down the stairs. Give him a Nelson. Full Nelson or a fucking swirly. Put his head in the fucking toilet. Make sure you shit in it first.
No, he
wouldn't do that. He would protect that person.
That's first person he would protect.
He would, yes, because he would feel like the people who have the power to push him down should use that power for good,
right?
And would have the decision to be able to say, "I don't have to do this," and also. The bigger guy is going to say, you're not going to do this. And, why don't you use your power for something better? And that's something that this movie is actually, we've gotten about 20 minutes off topic now.
It's okay.
But this movie is actually really, really faithful to a lot of things that are Captain America in nature. Arguably, some things they even just flat out they just go for an old school comic book feel. I mean, the movie feels like a comic book you would have read in the 40s or 50s, and I think that there is a charm, as you said, to it.
I can even go so far as to say that some of the shortcuts it takes to tell the story almost feels apropos in the sense that you only have so many pages in a comic book.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of exposition that is told through faceless dialogue, narration, through television broadcast, right? Like when the president gets captured, they find out about that in the hospital room on the television. It's like, wow, no budget to show that.
No budget to show it.
But they effectively tell you what's going on and where the story is going next, much like you'd probably get in a couple panels in a comic. Especially
older comics that were one and done. Older comics were a little bit longer than they are today. Some comics being as much as 48 pages every month, and they would have had several stories in it. You would have gotten your dime's worth in 1941. Mm-hmm. So what they would do is they would trim down exposition, cut to the chase, because for the most part, yes, it was mostly children reading it. Children don't need to know the nitty gritty. We were talking about Star Wars Episode 1. Children do not need to know what the taxation of trade routes is about.
Yeah.
Just cut to the fucking chase.
Yeah,
I mean,
no 8-year-old kid watching this movie is like, what's a blockade? What's going on?
So it's the idea is that back in the old days, the old way of telling stories, particularly the children, were to cut to the chase, use a caption box or some sort of very quick narration or a one-off word bubble to say, this happened. What are you going to do about it, Cap? Well, I guess I'm going to go save the day, Or he wouldn't have said, I would have gone to save the day, sonny boy, or whatever. And, he would go, and the very next page, he would be on a plane. And they do that sort of stuff where it's like, he becomes Captain America, the scientist lady gets killed, he gets shot in the process of avenging her death, He's in the hospital recovering from his gunshot wound. He says he wants to help. Hard cut to he's in a plane with the fucking Captain America suit, ready to parachute into behind the enemy lines.
Which is I pointed this out watching this, and yes, really fast moving. This is what's happening, but that's one of the things about this movie is so ridiculous. It's like, okay, he just became Captain America. He just got shot. There's no allusion to any super healing power at this point. But I'm pretty sure Captain America has that power, right? He heals really fast.
A little bit.
He can barely stand out of his hospital bed. He's like, I'm ready to go. He has 0 military training. He hasn't even thrown his shield. And then he's thrust into battle, one-on-one battle with no backup against the Red Skull, who has had his superpowers for 7 years.
Do you want to know how that's explained in the comics?
Holy fucking, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. Like, he deserved to die. Like
well, sure. The whole plan was botched from the beginning. I can tell you all the explanation if you would like. I can do it in 30 seconds.
All right.
Number one, the formula increases body strength and mental capacity. Steve Rogers is already a smart guy.
Right.
He is genius level, and his genius is in tactical.
In tactical ability.
The tactical ability. The reason why he can make his shield do what it can is that he is a mathematical genius.
So he knows all the geometry.
He knows the geometry.
Yeah.
Now,
what about can he take the wind elements into consideration?
Yes. He actually can. Yeah. He's he would be an awesome golfer.
He'd be a phenomenal frisbee golfer.
Right.
Holy shit! It'd be like be like hole-in-ones. It wouldn't even be fun to go out with them.
No.
He was just like, fuck.
The guy can't even get drunk either.
Yeah.
His metabolism works so fast. Yeah.
That's sad.
But no, the healing thing.
Yeah.
So
he gets shot a lot in this movie.
Yes, he does. He gets shot a lot in the comics. He gets beat up a lot in the comics. So here's a kind of a retcon they did in the 90s, I think. Maybe 2000s. So, Wolverine and the whole Weapon X thing? You remember that from the 90s?
Sure.
All right. Weapon X is not an X. It's 10. He's the 10th person of the weapon program.
All right, yeah.
Weapon 1 is Captain
America. Yeah.
So he does have a little bit of healing factor. I don't know where Deadpool falls in. He's in one of those too. He's one of those.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah, that was about 30 seconds. Good job. All right.
Boom.
Now you could do Infinite Crisis Earth and...
To 3 hours. Give me 3 hours. Are we ready? Here we go. Earth 1. That's the...
Okay, so Captain America, this I think was hilarious. This I feel like is one of the great comic book moments of this movie, is the Red Skull appropriately just kicks the shit out of Steve Rogers, Captain America. I mean, he's not even fit to be called Captain America at this point.
Because, no, he's kind of like Private America.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, he gets his absolute ass handed to him.
Saving Private America.
Yeah. In fact, the Red Skull is mocking him as he mops the floor with him.
He's like, America has made a poor decision.
A poor choice or something. Yeah,
something like that.
Something dumb. So then he...
No, not dumb. That's total comic book talk.
But it's like, this is all...
It's over the top.
Okay. I'm thinking about this, Captain America's going into this. He's in the plane. I was like, wait a minute. They're really going to send him in this state? And what you would expect happens. Cool. But he gets strapped to a rocket.
But where are they sending that rocket?
And they're sending the rocket to the White House.
Yeah, they're going to blow up the White House with Captain America strapped
to the rocket, which is, I got to say, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a good evil guy plan.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to be threatened by some goody two-shoes fuck nugget, I'm going to strap him to the rocket and send him back.
And Steve Rogers fights to the bitter end. He's strapped to the rocket, but he grabs the Red Skull's arm. He's like, well, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
Right? Which is pretty cool. And the Red Skull isn't able to break free. He has to cut his own arm off.
Yeah, he does. And they actually, the only time that they go back to that is at one point in time he's in the backseat of the car with his daughter or something. She notices, or she looks at his hand, and there's a shot of him with his prosthetic.
Yeah.
Like wrist.
Yeah, they didn't have much budget for that either.
No.
No.
No. They had $10 million, but not enough for a
There
fake
would be
hand.
none of that.
No, there'll be
where
none of
did
that.
the $10 million go?
Gosh, I don't know. Probably into other shitty movies.
Did
Probably
Ned,
into
did Ned Beatty get like half of it? Was he their big actor budget on this?
shit.
I
I don't
mean,
know. Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie
maybe?
Cox? I don't know.
I don't know, but so the main plot of this movie is very, very simplistic. It is very comic booky.
Yeah.
You learn the origin, so like the Red Skull gets taken as a kid. They do change his origin from being a German to being an Italian. I don't know why, other than everybody else they hired for his goons are Italian.
Yeah, I think it
mean-
probably had to do with the production, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if... so Albert Pyun is a pretty versatile guy. Like, he's able to stretch a budget, although I question it on this one. But he's able to make changes in a fluid manner that warrant what their resources are. And that benefit what their resources are. I would not be surprised if they were like, well, we're going to get mostly Italian actors. Maybe we should
It's going to look Italian.
It's going to look
wherever they
Italian.
hang
I think
out.
they shot in Yugoslavia, and it definitely looks...
Which totally looks like Italy.
It looks like Italy. It's like cobblestones and old stone buildings. It definitely doesn't look German.
But then again, I mean, the Red Skull has not... I mean, he's German in the comics, but he's not lived in Germany for a long, long time. I mean, it's like he may have a castle there or something, but it's like...
Right.
No, duh, that's where you're going to go look
I agree.
for
They
him.
still could have made him German, and it wouldn't have been that big a deal.
I mean...
And it's honestly a little weird to me that it is...
I mean, fuck.
That it
He's-
is Italian everything and not German.
Yeah,
I mean-
because he constantly says that he's fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
The Italians weren't actually Nazis.
No.
They were the brown shirts, right? Is
That's
that
where
what they
it gets a little muddled for me too, because all right, what is the Red Skull in 1990? What really is the Red Skull's motivation?
were? Well,
He is the head of this weird ass
international
crime
yeah, because there's one
syndicate.
British guy
yeah.
and an American guy who
And-
we'll find out is a traitor.
And the Red Skull has his eye on world domination, basically. Which,
but it's financial domination, though.
Yeah,
really,
he's a
because,
businessman, yeah.
because the main problem with this movie, or the main problem that the Red Skull has in this movie, is that the president, President Cox, sure, Kimball was his name. but
Kimball,
Cox. Ronnie Cox, president of the United States. He also ran the place in RoboCop too, right?
holy shit! Yeah, he did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, but not RoboCop 2. That was the guy from fucking Halloween 3.
I think I've purged RoboCop 2 from my mind.
Dude, the first 10 minutes of that movie is fucking bonkers.
I need to see it again.
Anyway,
I can't remember it at all.
It's just fucking mass hysteria all over the place. RoboCop comes in and starts shooting people.
Okay.
But he can't shoot a kid. Kid shoots him in the face. Because the bad guy's a kid in the RoboCop 2.
Okay, I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember.
Drug lord?
Oh shit! Yeah, that's the drug one.
Yeah.
That's like the war on drugs message
Nuke.
one. Yeah, nuke.
Nuke.
I do remember that.
So anyway, whoa, we're way off topic.
Yep.
Pulling it back to the U-turn.
Okay, so where were we then?
So the problem that the Red Skull has in this movie is that President Kimball, President Ronnie Cox,
Yeah.
is an environmentalist.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because we were just talking about this before we started recording. There is a very interesting environmental surge in the late 80s and early 90s
Yeah.
that was primarily around when Republicans, some would argue the greatest Republican ever, was in charge. The guy who couldn't fucking barely remember his wife's name. But whatever. He's the greatest Republican ever. He, sorry, it's true. though.
Yeah, I know.
The guy had a fucking finger on a red button and he couldn't remember shit. Anyway, he was in charge when the the return to environmental ideas that, Earth Day was kind of starting to kind of creep back in, although I think that might have been Bush by that time. But
But there was a general.
there was a general sense of we need to be
We need to clean some
careful.
thus up.
And we need to be careful.
Emission levels are
Right.
high.
And they did not deny
aerosols
that.
are not doing
Right.
us any favors.
And nobody cried and screamed and fucking bitched about them taking away their aerosol cans
Right.
because they don't believe in that shit. People actually cared.
Right.
And it was a fucking for real thing that is still a for real thing that people, for some reason, that same party denies. God damn, we're getting political. I don't fucking care.
4th
Fuck
of July.
this.
Woo!
Woo! Hey, I am exercising my First Amendment rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so what happened in this movie? I'm a little tipsy. I'm a little tipsy tonight.
Well, it's 4th of July. We're going to pew some fireworks later.
Pew,
Pew, pew.
pew.
So what happens next?
Anyway,
Red Skull, he
Red
doesn't
Skull's
like
gonna-
these environmental regulations.
Because they're going to hurt. They're
It
bad
hurts
for business.
So, I mean, right there, I mean, yeah, cool message, boring fucking movie, right? I mean, that's not the greatest villainry. Businessman who doesn't want an environmental regulation.
But-
So he's going to kidnap the president.
Well, this is where it becomes a very Red Skullian type of plan.
Yes, what his ultimate goal is kind of awesome. He wants to kidnap the president, inject him with this mind control device or substance.
Yeah, it
or
was going to be
something,
a implant
and basically become the president by proxy.
by proxy.
Yeah.
And it is mentioned that he was behind the assassinations of JFK,
Yeah.
RFK, and Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because I kind of feel like nobody would dare say that nowadays.
Right.
I mean, it would be kind of like, oh, that's
It's a little sacrosanct.
right.
But
But you know what?
well,
That shit was 50 years ago.
I feel
yeah,
like
if
you know,
a bad guy was,
I think you'd still get it. I feel like even the stupid GI Joe movies would go there these days, you know, with that kind of crap.
you'd be surprised how neutered those movies. Second one's kind of awesome because The Rock's in it.
Yes. Yes.
Bad, but I paid to see that shit in the theater.
Y'all know we love The Rock.
Oh boy, do we!
But anyway, so he says, you know what, it doesn't make any sense for us to assassinate another president.
It costs too
and
much.
it costs too much money, and it will just make another martyr.
Yes, and that was actually kind of a cool line.
It is
where basically it is true. You assassinate somebody, you make a martyr out of them, and you give a rallying point for the people who may have been at first kind of disparate in hearing about the message, but
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you kill the person.
And they're not making any progress in their agenda because
Exactly.
it just someone else rises out of the ashes to take up the mantle,
Or
and
multiple people rise up.
Yeah,
and
with
it
even
becomes a
more
bigger problem.
vigor and
Yeah.
all of that. So he's like, what we need to do is we need to actually get control, and to do that, we're going to make the president a puppet.
Right. Which
Yeah.
is very, very much a Red Skull thing.
Yeah.
So Captain America basically comes out of the ice. He gets frozen. He lands in Alaska.
They find him like the Thing.
Right, and he walks back to America, or walks several miles until Ned Beatty finds him by happenstance
In Canada, I
in
think. right?
Canada. In Canada, yeah.
in Canada.
There's only one path from Alaska to mainland.
Yeah, the villains, Red Skull's villains, are somehow able to find him, and also Ned Beatty, who is the childhood friend of the president. We should probably talk about that. The reason, oh my God, all right, this is getting really convoluted, but the president, Kimball, as a boy, was standing outside of the White House taking a picture when the rocket
when the
comes.
rocket arrives.
And Captain America is able at the last second to steer the rocket away
By kicking the rudders.
Yeah, by kicking the rudders.
Or whatever those are
So
called,
it
yeah.
narrowly misses the boy and the White House. Well, you get a nice little montage of the rise of political power of this little boy through the military, through college, through military, through.
Well, at one point in time, he does tell his mom that he's going to become president
Yeah.
someday, which is kind of a sweet little.
So he
thing.
becomes president, and his childhood friend, who's the only person who's ever told about this encounter with this mysterious man tied to a rocket who saved the country, is his buddy, who grows up to be Ned Beatty, who is kind of a conspiracy theorist journalist.
Yeah, and Yeah, I mean, he is. It's only kind of sort of mentioned that he's a conspiracy theorist. Turns out he's right. Actually, he knows that one person is behind all the assassinations that have set America back, seemingly.
Yeah, he's like if Alex Jones actually told the truth and was a good person. So the opposite.
So it's not shilling shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about that Cernovich guy? Is he in there somewhere? Is he?
Who's that?
That's that fucking Pizzagate fucker.
Oh God, what a fucker.
Oh God, what a
What a
fucker.
fucker.
Yeah, but if you're listening to this, you're a fucker. With your fucking lisp. Anyway.
God, yeah, he's annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway.
Watch Vic Berger instead.
Oh,
he's the
man.
guy to watch if you want to know who
That
all these
shit is
people are.
crazy with Vic Berger and the Proud Boys.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Nazis.
No shit, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
Emboldened.
Yeah.
Fucking emboldened.
Yeah.
These are guys that Captain America would punch square in the fucking jaw.
Yeah, but then Fox News would bitch about it.
Ugh.
Like they do in the comics, like that they read those comics. They don't read those comics. Fucking assholes.
Fucking assholes.
Read a fucking comic. You're going to bitch about
Be
it.
better. You'll be better. Okay, so the president.
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I'm
to
living
you.
the high life right now.
I'm drinking a Sun King. All right, all right, all right.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Oh, my God. Seriously.
All right, all right, all right. How great is that, right?
Does
It's a pitch for Sun King.
Maddie Mick,
Like
Mick
they need
get a fucking cut of that? He's got to,
probably not, but it's pretty genius. It's an Imperial Session or IPA, and it's pretty good.
Pretty good. Well, Miller High Life.
Miller High Life,
is
pretty
my
good. Pretty good.
poison of choice tonight, and it's doing the job.
All right, good to hear.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So he goes up to be president. His buddy knows the story.
Jones, a good Alex Jones.
Ned Beatty, yeah, and somehow, oh yeah. There's a picture of the people who find the block of ice with Captain America in it, and it gets back to the president. It's in the newspaper.
Iceman thaws out in Alaska
and
or something like
and
that.
the president's like, oh my God, this is him.
Yeah, he still has the
sees
picture.
he sees the
in-
A. Yeah,
Yeah, he still has the
and he
picture
still
in
has
his
the picture
wallet.
he took in his wallet when he almost got killed by a rocket. Yeah.
Because nobody but Ned Beatty believed that
Yeah,
was...
so he asked Ned Beatty to go investigate, which is ridiculous at this point because, somehow the Red
Send the
Skull,
Secret Service.
the Red Skull has got Ned Beatty's phone tapped. So the Red Skull knows that Captain America is alive. Plus, they also saw the newspaper thing, and they're like, yeah, that's Captain America. Red Skull's like, yeah, I recognize him. I kicked his ass
yeah,
50 years ago
I
or
kicked
whatever.
that fucking pussy's ass.
So he sends his goons. President sends Ned Beatty, which
By
fucking
the way,
Lord.
By the way, you would never forget. 50 years is not enough time to forget beating the shit out of somebody wearing the American flag.
No, you remember that shit the rest of your life, vividly. So
And rightfully so.
Right.
The Red Skull remembers that.
yeah, he does. He's like, oh shit, I remember that. That
I'll
was
take him on again.
that was one of the best ass whoopings I ever delivered.
Some fucking asshole shows up in the American flag. I'm gonna fucking kick that guy's ass.
Oh, you just watch as I whoop this motherfucker's ass. This motherfucker thinks it's turn 3 at the Indy 500.
That shit you would never forget.
Oh
You'd
my
never
God.
forget that.
You wouldn't. So all right. So somehow, some way, Ned Beatty in his shitty fucking Volkswagen, right?
Which, by the way, a lot of things happened
That's
are
a great-
really unsettling to Captain America.
Yes, that's a really good scene, actually. But Ned Beatty and then the Red Skull's goons and Captain America all somehow end up in the same fucking woods
in
Canada,
northern Canada.
In northern Canada, like Canada is fucking 50 square miles or 50 square feet, right? Like they somehow there's
It's like it's the size of my apartment, and it's like, well, he's back there in the bedroom. Go get him.
Yeah, it's
and
like-
Ned Beatty's just outside in the parking
it's like
lot.
the only way from Alaska through Canada back to the continental United States is the golden fucking brick road, you know, and
just follow that. You'll
and just
find
follow
him.
that, you'll find him.
Well,
yeah.
actually, find that asshole in the American flag. He sticks out like a sore thumb in Canada.
Yeah. They've
I
got,
mean-
they've got their spies everywhere.
Like a white guy in Harlem, he sticks out.
But we've got to move the story, so hey, we got confrontation.
Well, it's old school writing. It doesn't matter where they are. Just
they're going to find them.
they're gonna find them.
Right. We only have so many frames to tell this story. Found them, attack, Beatty saves them, and they're on the road in his shitty Volkswagen.
So Ned Beatty, like, first of all, Cap is already a little unnerved by the international group of people that found him because one of the guys has a German accent.
Yeah,
So he thinks he's surrounded by Nazis.
right. He doesn't know where he is.
He doesn't
either.
know where he is.
No idea.
He has no idea how much time has passed. He has seen the movie, and I can't remember what the movie is. But there's a movie that actually, there's a British guy who is told that he's in the future when he's actually in the present.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he talks about that with Ned Beatty. That's an actual thing. And he's like, I've seen this movie where the British agent woke up, or they tell him he's in the future when he's not actually, and you're putting this on. Well, and Ned Beatty's like talking to him. It's like, you can help me prove that the Red Skull was behind all of these
Ned
murders.
Beatty is full on like manic conspiracy theorist, like
And-
just
and
coming
Cap is
at
just
him like a
like-
mile a minute.
Yeah, and Cap's just looking at him like, nothing what you're saying makes any sense to me. And he's looking
In fact,
around.
it's not them just not making sense. It's really fucking unnerving.
Yeah. And he's looking around the cab of the Volkswagen, and it's like his Ned Beatty's little pocket recorder is made in Japan.
Made in Japan, yeah.
He's driving a Volkswagen, and he's like, you want me to tell you everything? Yeah, you can see it processing. You want me to tell you everything?
Tell me
I know?
everything about the Red Skull.
Yeah, it's like, so he pulls the greatest superhero trick out of the bag,
This is, I don't
and
even.
they're driving along, and he's like, I'm going to get sick, which if I have another one of these, I might have at this moment too.
This would be my move. I feel like.
I'm going to throw
I
up.
think pull over.
Pull over, I'm going to get
Pull
sick.
over.
So Ned Beatty's like, huh? And he's like, pull over. I'm feeling very sick. And so he pulls over, and Captain America kind of runs out a little bit and looks like he's about to throw up.
Master of
He's
manipulation.
Like,
This
he's like
Captain America.
side-eyeing, the sea.
He's
It's
waiting
like,
to see.
waiting
Did you
to
get
see
down?
him.
Did you come in to see
So
me?
Ned Beatty walks up to him, and fucking Cap bolts back to the Volkswagen and takes off and leaves him.
It's like I feel like it's straight out of something like Dumb and Dumber or something. I feel like that would be something that Harry would do to Lloyd.
Oh yeah, totally. Except for they would be in a fuzzy car, in a fuzzy dog car. So Cap makes his way back to Redondo Beach, is where he's from in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah. I've
You have seen this movie a
I've
few
seen
times.
the movie a few
But-
times. But he's not a Brooklyn boy.
But there's
or
one thing
from Queens.
that you picked up on for the first time
yes!
in this movie.
I don't remember what that was. What was it?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Bill
the-
Mummy. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about that now?
Yes, because it's important later.
It
Because
is.
Darren McGavin.
Yeah.
Oh, it's,
The dad from Christmas Story.
Yes.
Yes.
Kolchak from Night Stalker.
Yes.
So Bill Mummy, whatever. The little kid from Lost in Space, grew up to be a bad guy in Superboy. Because of course I know that shit.
Oh shit. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is one of the guys present at Captain America's origin,
Yeah. His debutante's ball, if you will.
his coming out party.
His coming out party.
And he constantly is kind of tugging at his ear.
Yeah.
You pointed this out because he does it multiple
He does it
times.
a couple times, and it's like in a moment where something awkward happens or a moment of
It's like
anxiety.
Yeah.
He tugs at his ear. It's kind of
It's a tell.
yeah. Yeah.
Quite literally,
Yeah.
because later we find out that Gavin McLeod, God damn it, Darren McGavin is the, God damn it, is the McLeod.
Powered through.
Okay.
Darren
Happy
McGavin.
birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America.
So Kolchak that's much easier for me.
Go
to
for
do.
it.
He turns out to be the inside man in the American side of the Red Skull's little
He's
cabal.
risen to the rank of general. He is basically, I mean, it feels like it's not. They don't come around and say it, but it feels like he's the Secretary of Defense or something. Because he hangs out in the Oval Office. I mean, he's in the White House.
He's got the president's ear.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah.
Which don't you have to be selected by the president?
Yeah,
for that?
he
And
must
if you
have.
don't agree with the president, you don't normally get selected for all the good shit.
Well, I think you agree to be the spy. You do what you got to do, and you work against the grain.
All right. So
It's better to be inside and work against than be on the outside.
like LBJ and JFK.
Yeah,
LBJ might be the guy who ordered the
could be.
JFK killing.
We got a couple hours. We could talk JFK conspiracies.
Let's do it. All right. Alex Jones, you are dethroned.
We have a new podcast now.
No. So he turns out to be, he's revealed to not only be the Red Skull spy for America's side of Red Skull Incorporated.
Yeah, whatever.
Red Skull business.
Yeah. There's pretty muddy waters there as far as what the...
Do you think the Red Skull, if he incorporated, do you think he would have like a skull and crossbones, but it'd be red?
That would make sense.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
We should also mention that the Red Skull in the first scene when he is fighting Captain America actually looks like the Red Skull. He's got
but they
red
fucked that shit
makeup
up later.
and really fucking looks cool. But then later,
He's wearing.
and for the rest of the movie, he's got like flesh-colored makeup on.
Yeah, remember that scene in Batman when the Joker would just go around looking like Jack Nicholson with a big giant smile on his face? They do that, but imagine if he never was the Joker again.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Because people who wanted to make comic book movies in the late 80s and 90s did not understand iconography.
Yeah. In fact, there's actually a quote by the screenwriter of this that says he didn't think that audience wanted to look at that ugly skull face.
Are you fucking kidding
The
me?
whole
Every
movie.
single person who would have rented this fucking movie
would
wanted
have
to see that.
expected to see it. Yeah, especially when they show it to you from the beginning, and then you see him again, and he looks nothing
Yeah.
like he did before. Not nearly as menacing or scary.
Fucking Infinity War made sure that you got to see that fucking Red Skull.
Yeah.
And they could have kept him in fucking cloak the whole time. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert for Infinity War. It's fucking like 18 months later.
Yeah, it's too
If you
late.
haven't watched it fucking yet, and it's your
Oh
own
my
fucking
god, it's
fault.
way too. Yeah.
It
This
might
is
not even
July
be in the
4th.
theater anymore. Is it in the
probably-
theater?
I think it's probably in the theater.
Fuck, I wanna
It
see
might be on its $8 billion.
It made a lot of money.
Yeah, it's still making a lot of
It's
money.
still making the money. Anyway, so
All right, so
yeah. So anyway, at one point, fuck, we're off the rails here, guys.
we're all right.
So
This
anyway.
is a rare Jeff treat. This is kind of fun.
Anyway,
All right,
I didn't have enough dinner tonight. That's the problem.
empty stomach. It'll
No,
do you in.
yeah, a little bit. Anyway, so so we were talking about the reveal with the ear tug.
Yeah.
So at one point, McLeod. No, not McLeod.
Well, basically, Captain America is taken Ned Beatty's car, and he makes his way to Redondo Beach.
Yes.
And he hooks up with.
Well, no, we were getting back to the ear pull.
Yeah, but-
Darren McGavin pulls his ear at one point. It's like, oh, that's the guy from the beginning.
Later,
I didn't know
when the
that.
president confronts him,
Yeah,
he
I
pulls
didn't
his ear,
know.
and yeah, that's the thing that Jeff had never recognized before. It's like, oh my
So
god!
remember
it's the
that thing
same-
we were talking about 20 minutes ago that I didn't realize I
Yeah.
saw every time I watched this movie but
Yeah.
didn't pick up on? We finally got back around.
We got back around to it. Yes. Anyway,
We boomerang that shit
um,
like Captain America's shield.
which yeah, I don't really think that a spherical object like that can really boomerang. Does that really work? Even if you know all the geometry, does that really work?
Do you really want to know the answer to this?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a couple of answers to this. It depends on the continuity, but partially it was just it was basically the English he would throw on it, and it would spin.
The spin.
The spin. Later, I think
because he would bounce it off of stuff.
Well, that
makes
that's
more
one
sense,
thing.
and he does that in this movie. He
does
bounces
that.
it off a dude's head,
Yes,
and
he
it comes
does.
back to him. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, which is what
Cap
you see
got
in
that
the
guy.
movies,
Yeah.
nowadays. But in the comics, he would generally go for the bounce around, and he would just throw it so hard that it would have the
So basically,
oomph to get back around.
It's basically playing billiards.
Yes, but also later there was another situation in which it was explained that he, or at one point in time, he had a shield that did. I don't remember exactly what the continuity is, but there was explained or tried to be explained at one point in time that he had an actual magnet or an actual thing
Okay.
that the shield would react to.
Okay.
Is
vibranium magnetic?
Yes.
I mean, vibranium isn't mentioned once in this movie, but
no, because I'm not even sure.
when did vibranium even get introduced into the
Well,
Captain
that's the
America lore?
Well, adamantium. I have actually the first issue that announces adamantium, or that mentions adamantium by name. It was an Avengers comic. I don't know if vibranium was a '60s thing. I feel like it was a '60s thing because just throw.
Let's make some more shit up.
Right, just make something sound like an element and go for it. Just throw it out there.
Okay.
Kids will buy that shit. We did. I feel like adamantium was around. Let's see. Wolverine first appeared in the mid '70s. It was around before then. Vibranium, I think, also was around since the '60s. I don't know if they ever. I can't honestly say when they had said that Cap's shield was vibranium. In the Golden Age, in the '50s, they would have just said it's an near unbreakable shield. Probably would have said titanium or something like that.
Right. Aluminium.
That shit would have been really dented.
Aluminum shield.
Yeah,
That'd be hilarious.
He uses it. He uses it as a cover to bake his shit. In the oven. Anyway,
It's got impressions of faces in it.
that would be awesome.
That would be pretty awesome.
I would not fuck with that man. He carries around impressions of people's faces. All the faces he rocked.
He's like some kind of like Marvel superhero Cenobite.
Or like Freddy Krueger's chest.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know exactly when they said that his shield was made out of vibranium. I feel like that's been around since I was a kid, at least since the 80s then. So probably before then. So Cap pulls that fucking I'm going to get sick in the car thing a couple of times.
He pulls it twice, yeah.
Yeah, he does it to his girlfriend.
Yeah, his girlfriend's daughter, I should add.
No, that he's finally like, you know what, I'm keeping this in the family.
Because he's been frozen for nearly 50 years, and his old
girlfriend's
girlfriend is old now.
Same actress.
And yeah, which is, I don't know, that's fucking stupid. I mean, just
You had a real problem with that.
Just cast an older lady. It looks so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the thing. Like, really, you can't afford someone older to just play the same part.
No.
It's
They only
weird.
had $10 million.
But all that makeup in multiple scenes, I couldn't have been cheap either.
No, I'm guessing they filmed all that shit in one day.
Oh, maybe. But that bugged me. But anyway, she dies. The dad almost dies.
Love is fleeting.
Ned Beatty dies at the hands of the Red Skull's Italian flunkies.
Oh, and his hot daughter.
And Cap shacks up with the hot daughter and goes on the road to get revenge. And we've got ourselves an exploitation film.
Oh my God, dude!
It becomes a revenge.
It's not a rape revenge though.
But no, but it becomes a revenge road movie at this
Kind
point.
of. If it was truly an exploitation movie, Sharon, which is his girlfriend's daughter, who is now his new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
You always trading in for the younger model. Man.
Yeah, so he's literally trading in for the younger model, and
Hey man, he's still the same age.
And
they keep getting younger.
And she's all right. fire.
Yeah, we got it.
We were on fire.
We got a couple of good episodes here, guys.
And she is dating her mother's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's a little
Dicey, man.
It's a little dicey.
But if it was a true exploitation movie, Sharon, the Red Skull's daughter, and her two hot henchwomen
Would all
have
get it on at
all
some
gotten
point.
gotten down in that fucking jail cell.
That's
they put her
true.
in.
That's true. I think that happened.
Oh,
I think,
I'm sure.
I think
it happened.
Albert.
I'm guessing
Albert.
there is a second movie that's happening simultaneously. That's like a women in prison.
I'm pretty sure Albert Pyun shot that scene. It just didn't make the
He
final
shot
cut.
something.
Yeah, I think he shot that scene.
I'm thinking he was like, this is my chance to make a women in prison movie.
Yeah, and he did it. He
And,
shot it.
yeah.
He probably shot a whole 90-minute movie that we'll never get to see because he doesn't own the film.
We got to find out
We
where that
gotta
film is.
find it. We're
That
gonna
would've
go on a
been
quest.
hot, man.
I want to know where. I'm gonna.
Call it Vinegar Syndrome.
Yes.
They'll get it.
I'm gonna message Albert on Facebook. He's on He's all over Facebook.
Dude, don't do that though. So let's All right, let's finish
Albert,
up.
where's the 90-minute women in prison film that you shot simultaneously with Captain America? He'll probably laugh his ass off. He would laugh his ass off.
So Captain America saves the day. Anyway,
The end.
the end.
Merry
No,
Christmas. God bless America.
I'm glad you said Merry Christmas because we don't want to start a war on Christmas.
Right. No war on Christmas.
No, our cups say Merry Christmas.
Nothing's more American than Merry Christmas.
Can we pull the car over? I'm gonna.
I'm feeling sick. Can you pull the car over? Jeff's gonna drive away with this episode.
No. So yeah. So shenanigans happen in this movie. Like Cap and Sharon are like, it's like they're getting in the chases in Italy. They do find out that the Red Skull's parents were killed in 1936 when he was taken to be experimented on and turned into a Red Scully guy.
Yeah,
And
he's literally called an Italian boy named the Red Skull.
Yeah.
That's the intel that the United States
gives
have
President Roosevelt
back in 1943.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, that's all comic book.
It's so silly and kind of amazing.
Yeah. So they find that recording because he's like a piano genius, and they were recording it on like an old tape recorder. The Italians come. Mussolini's in this movie.
Yeah.
He's getting work these days.
That's like way at the beginning, but yes.
Mussolini's
Mussolini
in this movie.
made the cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
With his little tassel hat.
Yes.
He looks ridiculous in that tassel hat.
But there's a final confrontation.
Yes. Well, okay. I'm getting to that because we got to explain why the confrontation. So
Oh my God! I need another.
No,
I need another. Ride. I'll be right back. Jeff, take it away.
All right, he's out of the car. I'm taking off. So anyway, so the Red Skull, his parents got killed when he was taken for experimentation. Yeah, do it.
America.
Oh boy.
So his parents got killed
Yeah.
when he was taken away.
Yes, and it was on the recording because they were recording him playing the piano because he's some sort of piano genius.
Yep.
Have I said that yet?
He's a piano genius. He also has a piano bomb. Well,
He does have a piano bomb. It's amazing. He also hit every rock on the side of that fucking mountain.
dude, I know every single one on the way down.
Every one of them. Yeah. So
I wonder how many times I shot that. I wonder if Albert was like, do it again. He didn't hit enough rocks.
yeah, send that dummy down again.
Yeah, we've got lots of dummies. Just keep
there's
sending them
there's
down.
Scuba guys
Yeah.
down there collecting the dummies.
Collecting them.
Yeah. So people don't know what this
Maybe
movie's about.
that's where the $10 million budget went. It was
All the
It
dummies.
was all the dummies
All
that
the
they
Red
sent
Skull
down.
dummies.
All the film stock
all the
and
Scott
dummies.
Pullen
Albert just
dummies.
couldn't stop shooting dummies down cliffs.
I wouldn't either.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, God, people don't know what this movie's about.
I don't really either.
I do, goddamn it.
I just watched it.
Ah.
It's about
I've watched this movie a lot.
It's about Captain America defeating the Red Skull. That's ultimately what it's about. Saving the president. I mean, come on. That's all this movie's about. And saving the environment at the same time.
Piano bomb.
They really want you to know that the environment was saved at the end of this movie.
Yes. Yes. Captain America, wherever you are, we're all in the fight. Or whatever.
And we're all in the fight. Yep. So, yeah, the end.
Talk about Albert Pyun.
Yeah. So, Albert Pyun.
I'm going to go.
Jeff's going to get out of the car, and I'm going to drive for a second. So Albert Pyun, he's directed something like, I don't know, probably almost 100 movies at this point. Mostly B movies. A lot of low-budget stuff that had really big ambitions and not really the resources to shoot an entire vision. He's done stuff like Cyborg and Nemesis, Mean Guns, like these really specific genre films. A lot of his films kind of take place in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. He really likes to build worlds. Just a fascinating filmmaker that never really got a budget. His first movie, I think, was Sword and the Sorcerer, which was a big splash as kind of a fantasy Conan type movie that made quite a bit of money. And he's always been kind of reliable as that filmmaker who can take a small budget and turn it into a profit. He's just that kind of guy. He usually writes his own scripts, hires his own actors. He kind of does it all. Well, a few years ago, he was very publicly announced on social media that he has early onset dementia. And it's very debilitating. It's affecting his motor functions. It's affecting his memory. It's affecting his consciousness. But he continues to work. He shot an entire film, Interstellar Civil War, that hasn't gotten a proper release yet, but is available VOD in some format. He's edited, I don't know, probably at this point like 50 different versions of this movie. He's always tinkering. I was despondent when it was supposed to premiere at Horror Hound.
Oh my God, you were so sad.
In
By the way,
2017, just back. In 2017, it was supposed to premiere Interstellar Civil War, and it's
oh my God, you were
in its
so
final
excited.
incarnation. I was so excited to see it.
I even had this Blu-ray of Captain America in my satchel.
He was supposed to be there
I was
and announce it and everything. I was so excited, and he couldn't make it because he was too sick, and he couldn't send a copy because it's on a hard drive. It's on a big hard drive.
You got to put that shit on a DVR.
Yeah, I think that it's not compressed because it's like a huge file. So it's on a literal like hard drive.
That also makes me wonder if it's like a fucking 3-hour movie.
I think it is about 3 hours. Or there's a cut of it that is.
Were we gonna watch that?
That what we were about to watch? I think we were gonna watch at least a 2.5 hour cut.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how difficult that would have been?
You wouldn't have hung. You and Kelsey would have been gone. I would have stuck around. But
no, I don't know.
You probably would have.
I've seen.
But there was like a whole con to do.
I know.
And
there was the fucking bootleg guy.
It was probably a blessing in disguise, honestly.
Yeah, because I found that fucking bootleg. I got Cannibal Holocaust on bootleg.
Yeah. But still, there hasn't been, I don't think, a real release of it. I think there might be a VOD release of it.
That's right. We were talking about that.
He also directed a sequel to Streets of Fire.
Yeah, we've mentioned that.
Streets of Fire. It's the road to hell. Get it?
No.
And
again, I said it 2 weeks ago, and I'll say it again. The road to hell is paved by Streets of Fire.
Yeah, and Michael Paré is in it. A couple of the actresses are in it from that, and he did that. Funny enough, Michael Paré was at this same con, and I mentioned to him that Albert was supposed to be there and that he was sick, and Michael Paré actually looked legitimately concerned for Albert's health and thanked me for saying so. Thanked me for telling them that he was sick. So I don't know. Maybe he reached out and said, "Hey, let's do Path to Flames." But But now,
Cul-de-sac of flames.
Cul-de-sac of Flames. I would fucking watch that.
Cul-de-sac de flames.
Oh my god. So last
You wouldn't
I heard,
have watched that.
I would.
Why would you watch that?
Why not? We watch a lot of shit, Jeff. That's just one more feather.
One
in
more
the cap.
feather in the
Feather
shit.
in the shit cap.
Oh, one more peanut in the shit.
Yes, one more peanut in the shit. He's interesting because he's got all these projects that are going. He's got some sort of NBA project that he's pitching, that he's always talking about on Facebook. Yeah, I don't know quite what it is. And
NBA,
the basketball. Yeah, and he also is working on.
Is it a sequel to He Got Game?
Probably not. Sorry, what would it be called? She don't
have Monopoly.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. You put me on the spot.
Not good enough, Jeff.
You put me on the fucking spot.
But he's working on this. I find fascinating. So he has a script that he never got to produce for Masters of the Universe 2. Right? He was supposed to make that movie, and he wrote the script for it, and it's been sitting, and he decided to basically cannibalize that script and make it into something else. And he's working on a new movie called Badass Angels, which is this massive post-apocalyptic movie that is using most of the elements from the Masters of the Universe 2 script. And I'm fascinated.
Wait. Badass Angel. Is it going to be Badass Ladies?
No. No, it's Badass Angels. And I think there could be Badass Ladies in it. I'm sure there will be.
I feel like
it's an Albert Pyun movie. There will be Badass Ladies in it.
But I feel like with a name like that, they should all be ladies.
But I think they're like legitimate angels.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a...
I can't.
I think it's sort of like a supernatural post-apocalyptic thriller thing, actioner. Who knows? I don't know if it'll get made. I mean, he seems to be like an up and down with his health, and it's really sad, but it's also really inspiring because you see somebody whose creative energy is so turned up. He cannot not create. He's constantly in that frame of mind, no matter what type of health or mental capacity that he has. He is constantly creating, and I find that just incredibly inspiring.
That is cool because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm constantly frustrated that I can't quite create what I want.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm jealous. Mm-hmm. It's almost to the point where he doesn't make these masterpieces of cinema, but he
doesn't matter. He's doing what he wants.
But he's doing what he wants to do. He's making the movies he wants to make, and he is being able to excise these creative demons and angels out of him, and it's a constant. I almost wonder if it's almost a curse. I almost wonder, like the Stephen Kings of the world, who just are always writing stories and always have to get these things out of them, if that's almost a curse or if that truly is a blessing. Obviously, it's granted them with a good life, but they're constantly, vomiting creativity. And some of it is good, some of it is great, some of it is shit,
Yeah, I mean, and this is very serious what I'm about to say, but I have a very overactive imagination, but I get frustrated in the sense that I can't do anything really with it. Like I try to do something with it, and I can't express it quite the way that I want. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, there's very little that I can't imagine. I've often joked, and it's not really a joke, but oftentimes I think in cartoons.
Okay.
Like what goes on inside my brain is probably closer to what goes on inside Homer Simpson's brain, but it's very cartoony and it's very animated, and like literally animated. I can't draw that. I can't put that to paper. I can't write exact. I mean, the closest I can ever get to what jumbled mess is going on inside my brain is B-movie enema. And sometimes I read that and it's like, well, it makes perfect sense to me, but it probably is like a fucking disaster zone for anybody else.
Well, it's not a disaster zone, but it's actually really refreshing to read because it's stream of consciousness.
Oh yeah,
but it's
live blogging a movie,
but
essentially.
But it's focused. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's exactly what it is. It's live blogging a movie, and I kind of, most of the movies that you write about are not movies that people are going to flock to go see. So it's sort of fun to read what you have to say about them and the comments that you make about them as you're watching the movie. And from time to time, I'm like, holy shit, I have to see this movie. Like, the things that he's describing are too unbelievable to not go and seek out.
Some of those movies, though. Oof,
and while you're watching it and while you're talking about it, it's just you can tell that you're having a lot of fun. And I think it's my only real creative outlet.
It
feels like you're reading somebody's creative outlet, and by osmosis, by proximity, you kind of get the same level, not maybe the same level of enjoyment, but a little bit of that feeling.
Well,
that you're feeling when you're writing it.
And I'm sure this is probably in some ways the exact things you were talking about Albert Pyun. It's the fact that it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's an outlet for something that if it stays inside and rattles around too much, I don't know what's going to come out as.
Yeah.
Maybe not good. But it's almost a chance for me to play I'm just going to let the id take over.
Yeah.
And it's pure that. And it's a different
there's
character.
a liberation there. You're playing a character. Yeah. You're playing your id.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I say things that I could never say to somebody face to face, that especially people you and I, we can can say some shit. There are people that I can say things to. There are other times where it's like, I would never say that to somebody but I will write that.
Yeah.
And I will play that character.
Yeah.
And I can only hope that people don't take it as being a real me. Mm-hmm. But I don't really care either. It's like, if I can have a sense of humor.
Right. Yeah. I mean, And I think
obviously there's no person on the planet who talks about tits as much as I do. And I don't know, half of the articles that I write that would honestly be that way and be me at the same time. It's like give me 5 minutes with you in a room and you'll realize I'm not that person.
Right. Sure. And I don't think anyone thinks.
No, I don't.
That knows you at least thinks you are. But I think there's something really joyful about reading that character. And where I think that with Albert is he has this creative energy that he cannot suppress. It's impossible. But also there's this side to his work that is simultaneously sad and inspiring.
Yeah.
I feel like he also feels that he needs to work or he's going to lose control.
Yeah,
like,
it's almost like if I'm not doing this, then I don't know
then
who
I'm debilitating.
Yeah.
Right. And he's debilitating at a quicker rate if he's not keeping his mind sharp and active. And I really truly believe that that his fight against his disease is his creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you not be inspired by that? Like to me, that is the just absolute epitome of the human spirit of the human will.
Which is funny because what we watched is meant to be an inspiring character.
Yeah.
And so it kind of ties together nicely. You've got the symbol of the greatest that we can be and a person who is trying to be the best he can be.
Yep.
Without losing himself. And it's kind of interesting. And it's kind of part of the reason why I picked this we could have watched, like I said, one of the super awesome Captain America movies or something, but I picked this one because of the connection to you.
Yeah.
And it's my guy, it's like, I literally thought about watching the movie with my. I have an actual Captain America shit, not an actual one. It's
Made of vibranium. Did you get it from Wakanda? Did they let you in? They let you into Wakanda?
I bought it off of a guy with one arm.
Oh, don't trust that guy.
No, he fucking tried to sell me his rap tape. It sucked. Spoiler alert for Black Panther.
But this was a good choice.
Yeah. So
I had a lot of fun with this.
it's not a good movie. Again, 2 weeks in a row. I'm not gonna dilute my intelligence by saying I think this is a good movie. I think it is unfairly judged. One of the things, and this was kind of the notes I made that we didn't really get to talk about, but it's Marvel forever wanted to make live action stuff. In the late 70s, they had Incredible Hulk. They had a brief run for Amazing Spider-Man. Have you ever seen that TV show?
Yeah, I have.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
They tried Captain America twice, just turned into 2 TV movies.
Yeah.
And they had a failed attempt with Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I can't remember what they said or what they blamed Captain America's failure on, but it was across from something like super duper important. And it was like, well, yeah, of course nobody's going to watch this Doctor Strange movie, so it didn't get the ratings that they wanted to have a TV series. The guy who plays Doctor Strange, though, looks like John Holmes. So it's kind of hilarious.
Weird. That's weird.
And the mom from...
Mamma mia, pizzeria, stick it in your eye. If you get that reference, email me.
The mom from Arrested... I'm just moving right now. Just pushing on through. Just pushing in. The mom from Arrested Development, by the way, 40 years ago, was really
it's
hot.
blow it out your ass, not stick it in your eye. I'm such a maroon. Sorry, keep going.
She was the bad guy in that Doctor Strange TV movie. She was really hot 40 years ago. So anyway, so they really wanted to have live action stuff, but their only real successes aside from the Incredible Hulk was their cartoons, particularly Spider-Man.
Yeah,
cartoon.
for sure. Spider-Man cartoon,
particularly in the early '80s.
I mean, let's face it. That kind of is the next logical step from the cartoon to where do we go from here in media. Right. I mean, the cartoon makes most sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when Batman came out in 1989, Superman already had some legitimacy for comic book, but it was mostly fantasy inspired. Batman was very street level. It was very realistic. You could believe that Batman could exist in a world, in a real world.
Yeah.
And then Marvel was kind of back in the business again. But unfortunately, I would say that Stan Lee probably, I think he might have made some of these deals. I think he may have still been in charge. Certainly, Howard the Duck was a bad move, but that was more George Lucas's bad move. The problem is, I think George Lucas wanted to make that an animated movie and was forced into a contract where he had to make it live action. The Transformers movie is a Marvel movie. The G.I. Joe movie, although people are very disappointed with those, with the way that Transformers killed the greatest hero of most childhood memories.
Dude, the Transformers movie, the animated movie, is so good.
I
love it. I love it.
Well, you want to watch that next month?
We'll watch it.
We'll watch that in August?
Really like it.
We'll watch that for one of the August spots that we have on.
You got the touch, Jeff. You got it.
Yeah,
You've got the power.
Oh boy, do I! So anyway, when you got to the late '80s, Batman legitimized the genre. Marvel tried with the Punisher. They tried with Captain America. They tried with Fantastic Four. Unfortunately, they did not have what DC had, which was ownership from a major studio.
Yeah.
So Marvel was left to make bad deals. And I'm sure Golan and Globus originally probably sweet-talked Marvel real hard into buying that deal.
Well, I mean, let's face it. They were making pretty big, popular, not big, but...
They had a couple of hits.
They had
Cobra. They had
Delta Force.
Delta Force, sure. They had, I guess, I don't know.
Electric 2.
Oh, Breakin' was
Breakin'
a big
2,
hit.
Electric
Breakin' was a
Boogaloo.
huge hit. Breakin' was a huge hit.
Look, they were making...
They had moments,
They had
but for
moments.
the most part, they were disappointing. But they were
had
good
over
at
the
talking.
top. I mean, come on.
That movie's shitty.
It's so bad.
And it made
it's-
nothing.
No.
It couldn't make back Sylvester Stallone's
Salary.
salary.
Yeah, it's amazing.
1987 was pretty much when canon fell apart.
Yeah.
Or began to fall apart. They released like 40 fucking movies in a 52-week schedule.
That in
By the
and
way,
of itself,
52 weeks
that in
equals
and of
1 year.
itself, I think, is just amazing. Like the
They
story
were
of canon
competing against
films
themselves.
is the best. Yeah.
At one point in time, Superman 4 and Masters of the Universe were in theaters at the same time
Oh my god.
with Jaws for it. Which was not them, but still might as well been.
Oh god. Nobody wins. Audiences, anyone.
This
Nobody
time
wins.
it's a kick to the balls, not just personal. It's a kick to the balls.
You wrote a movie enema about that.
All
didn't you?
three of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
All three of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Check those out.
All right.
So anyway, but the point is that Marvel made some bad deals, but I don't think those movies are bad. That Punisher movie is my favorite. Well, Warzone's pretty.
I like
fucking
Warzone
awesome.
a lot.
But the Dolph Lundgren one is
not bad.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It has moments. It's got a great scene where he basically asks the kid of the guy he just murdered to kill him. That's some fucking powerful shit.
Yeah.
This movie had the spirit that it wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The Fantastic Four movie had the spirit. It didn't have the money. It had
Yeah.
1/10 of the money that this movie, that Captain America had. Marvel had to try and fail before
Yeah.
Blade and X-Men and Spider-Man and all those movies ended up hitting big. I like this movie more than anybody who's a fan of comics should, but also it's popular to hate.
Yeah,
And
I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon of piling on this movie and hating it. I think that there's like I said earlier, there is a specific charm to this movie. I think there are moments that I really like. There's a moment after isn't it when he defeats the Red Skull?
Oh yeah.
And he kind of like side
So
swipes.
wait, but how did he defeat the Red Skull?
Well,
Well, what happened to the Red Skull? We've already
the
alluded
Red Skull it goes down the huge cliff that his piano bomb is next to. He literally has a piano bomb, and he hits every freaking rock on the way down to the ocean. And after this happens,
such a beautiful,
and after this
like, wide
happens,
shot.
I forget what exactly Captain America says, but he says it with a wink, and he gives the camera a quick glance. So you make eye
It's not that
contact.
quick. It's not that quick. It is like a full on.
But it's
I'm
like
winking at the camera.
It's like a half second, but it's there, and it's
Yeah,
it's
obvious.
It's perfect, yeah. And it's like, God damn it, how can you not like that?
Well,
it's
and-
like an aw shucks moment that
which he has a G.
he has a gee whiz in it when he
Yeah.
realizes that the president is the kid he saved when the rocket was almost.
He says gee whiz.
He says, "Oh, well, gee whiz," I was like, "Oh, I love that." Like those are the moments in this movie that I can't help but like.
There's one moment that's totally goofy, but it's so totally perfect. At one point, Cap doesn't have a shield, and the president is fighting people, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Cap is fighting people, which is real awesome. And at one point, the president realized Cap is like staring down the barrel of a gun, more or less.
Yeah.
Or realizes that he's going to be shot. So he skips the shield over to him. Cap is able to kind of like tumble over and grab it and use it to fend off the bad guys and everything. And and it's so clearly like it is telegraphed. He's like, "Mr. President," and the president looks over, and there's a beat. And Cap gives the thumbs up. And he's like, "Thanks." And it's just like
It's so silly, but it's so nice. It's so
in
cool.
a way,
like
it fits that spirit of we're all in this together.
I kind of
thing.
wish that the movie had gone a little further in that direction. I think that if it had tried to maybe be a little more aw shucks throughout, it would have been better.
They played up. You know what? The odd thing
There's
is that
kind of like they didn't know like quite what tone to strike.
they tried to play up too much that he's a man out of time instead
Yeah.
of playing up that he is just who he is. That's the one thing that particularly the Russo brothers were good at
Yeah.
with the current cap.
Yeah.
The whole running gag in the Winter Soldier where Black Widow is trying to set him up on a date or try to talk to him about girls, and he doesn't, and he's like real shy about. It's like that's not Man Out of Time. That is aw shucks, and that is Cap being literally a man who does not belong in the present day.
Yeah.
And those are things that if I wish they'd have turned those up a little bit, this movie would have been a little bit better. It would have still been kind of silly. It would have been almost too naive for the 90s, but
Silly,
it would have fit that character.
and naive are okay. Yeah, if it fits the character, it would have, I think, struck a more consistent tone.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have benefited from just a little bit more sinister of a plot. I think the
Red Skull comes off too cartoonish.
I think the Red Skull could have been a little scarier. I mean,
because that would have been the perfect
if they had shot him
juxtaposition.
in the shadows a little bit more, just kind of like even how you shot him, you could have amped up a little bit more of the tension.
Right. The idea is that Captain America is the ideal of everything that is good about America, and the Red Skull is everything that points out the flaws of freedom and democracy, and how he honestly believes that people should be ruled, not given choice. And he's a juxtaposition, but he's made too cartoonish, so it tips the balance too much.
Yeah, and I think it's tricky because Albert is probably trying to shoot just like the comic,
right?
And I think that given that sort of one-dimensional viewpoint, he does a really good job, but I think that there would have been some creative choices I would have made differently to kind of amp up the tension, maybe ratchet up the intrigue, and also play up a little bit of the really charming aw shucks characterization of Captain America.
I would have definitely told that fucking screenwriter to go fuck himself with the whole idea of taking the Red Skull. Now maybe have the Red Skull first appear in the 90s with makeup on,
right,
and then it falls away, much like they did in First Avenger,
right,
where he eventually just pulls off that mat and it's like, holy shit, he's a fucking monster.
Yes, most definitely. Unquestionably, yes, yeah.
But anyway, the thing is, I can't recommend this movie to anybody because the reputation often precedes it. I take a little shit when I say that it's not as bad as people say it is, but
I don't fucking care.
The Punisher and Fantastic Four are all better than its reputation. Than their reputation.
Watch it if you want to watch it. If you've listened to us and you're even the least bit intrigued, watch it. If you're interested, like I am, in just watching everything that Albert Pyun has made, bad, worse, and indifferent, watch it. It's
colorful. It's fun.
You could do a hell of a lot worse with an hour and a half.
Sure can.
Yeah.
And we probably have many times already.
Yeah, definitely.
You can do a fuckload worse.
There is a legitimate sweet heart in this movie, and it's hard to deny that. And on 4th of July, the birthday of our country, I kind of want to go out on that. It's just a positive note.
Yeah, it is.
It's a positive movie.
It is. It's a time capsule of certainly when we were more innocent.
Yeah. There's an earnestness in this script and in this movie of a simpler, more
good and evil are clearly defined.
Yeah. Something that in my youth, if I'd seen this as an 11-year-old boy, I'd probably be a hell of a lot more nostalgic for this movie. Because I do believe that if you were to show this to an 11-year-old boy in 1990, he would have really liked it. Yeah.
I mean, even an 11-year-old boy who collects all the comic book or all the Captain America comics he could get his hands on at that time, and boy, would they have been a lot cheaper back then.
Yeah.
But you would have been able to get your hands on as many Captain America comics as you could. Probably buy the fistfuls for few dollars at a time.
Yeah.
'Cause trust me, I did that with a lot of comics. You would have said, yeah, that's not really the way it is in the comic, but you would have appreciated the colorfulness of it. There's no this is not, I mean, yeah, it's a positive movie, and it's a feel good movie at the end. The good guys win. And I feel like that's something that Captain America has always been handled pretty well, that he wins in the end. Maybe not in the last time you saw him, because he has one of the most heartbreaking last lines of any Marvel movie ever when he's holding a dead fucking robot. But he is handled very optimistically in all of his screen appearances. This one just happens to be a lot more appreciative of his roots.
Yep.
And the roots of doing the right thing and being an American.
Yes. Damn it.
Happy birthday,
On
America.
that note, happy birthday, America.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to go back to Crystal Lake for a little bit of a summer camp.
Yeah, summer camp.
Summer camp. We're going to deal with the
Tommy Jarvis trilogy.
Yes.
Yeah.
probably, certainly two of my favorite. One, absolutely my favorite, Friday the 13th, for a lot of reasons, which I'm sure we'll talk
For
about
me,
next week.
my favorite is the other one, and I like the other one the second.
And the one in the middle is going to be
It's
probably
just
what we're going to
bonkers,
mostly
and we'll
talk
like
about.
it a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've got we're just chugging right along here with the summer of more lighthearted fare.
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying it. We've got lots more ahead, and I think you guys will enjoy it. We've got lots of big fun things going on with the site too, where we're going to have a new website soon, if not already. I don't know. We record this a little bit in advance, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But in the meantime, you can always catch up with us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I always fuck up the email, so you get
It's filmseizure@gmail.com.
Oh, someday it's going to be gmail@filmseizure.com. I swear to God.
Yes, it will be. We're going to have a Gmail at filmseizure.com email address, and I can't wait.
I can't wait until that's
I
live.
can't believe we don't already have one.
But we're working on it.
It's going to be the best.
We're going to see a lot of puzzled looks when
Oh,
we get that.
that's so good. Email us at gmail@filmseizure.com.
No, for real.
Oh, you might actually be able to email us at gmail@filmseizure.com right now. Give it a try.
Give it a try. If it bounces back, we haven't set it up yet. But anyway, we're probably. I mean, we need to get back up and running with writing some articles. But we've been kind of busy getting other stuff up and running. I did not write a for real review of Solo, even though I saw that. I didn't write a review for Deadpool. So that's because we've been kind of busy in regular life, but also with doing other things for getting all of these exciting things up and running. But every week, new episodes. We promise. Always, mostly,
Pretty
probably,
much.
probably always.
Yeah.
We're probably. But anyway, in the meantime, go out, light a big ass fucking firecracker,
Yeah. A huge
blow a goddamn
cake
hole,
of fireworks.
a cake of fireworks.
Cake of fireworks.
Is that an actual
That's
official
a thing.
unit?
Yeah, that's like a thing. Like the big multi-shot things are cakes. Yeah. Yeah.
Shoot off a bukkake of fireworks.
And wish our great country a happy birthday.
In the meantime, you've been listening to Film Seizure. Oh, shit. Edit that out.
High life.
You've been listening to Film Seizure. I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I am Jason Oliver, and guess what? We got through an entire episode talking about Captain America 1990 without mentioning that Captain America is played by J.D. Salinger's kid.
Matt Salinger. Have a good one. See you next week.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. If he's led to a fight and a duel is due, then the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
This motherfucker thinks it's turn 3 at the Indy 500.